An old door just appeared in my basement. Hi. My name is Lila, and I'm 10 years old. Something weird has been going on here at my house, and my brother says we should write down everything that happens from now on. He is writing his perp-spec, whatever, his side of things, and I asked him if he minded me posting those too, so maybe I'll put those up later if I get a good response on here and you guys want to read it. He says he's writing in his journal, but I call it his diary. That pisses him off. I found this Reddit place online about creepy things and thought it would be a perfect place to ask for advice without telling people I know and having them think I'm a crazy person, or just being a stupid little kid. Anyway, the weird thing that happened is that I found this door in my basement. It didn't used to be there. In fact, I know it wasn't there last week, the day before I found it, because it appeared on the wall in my play area. Right in between where my pink and white play kitchen is and my dress-up chest. It so does not match the decor I've got going on down there. Mom and Dad let me even put up wallpaper so that my play area could look like my own little house, so this creepy, rusted metal door is way out of place. The first thing I did when I saw it was get angry. I mean, why would Mom and Dad put this ugly thing in my play area of all places? Couldn't they prop their musty old door somewhere else? Then I noticed it wasn't propped. It was attached. That freaked me out a little, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, the walls of the basement are concrete, right? So, like, it's not as if the door could lead anywhere. I hadn't heard them busting down the basement walls, and it's the middle of summer. I'm 10, I'm always home, cause where else would I be, you know? So, then, I made a big mistake. See, I didn't really want to try to open it, because my brother made me watch this scary movie with him a little bit ago, and there was a creepy door and freaking zombies came out of it and ate some guy's face right off. So, I just kept picturing that door, you know? So instead, I knocked on the door. And someone knocked back. A big booming knock. It scared the daylights out of me, and I ran like a tornado all the way upstairs and tried to explain what was happening to Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad acted like they had no idea what I was talking about. They were all, "It's your imagination, and what door are you talking about, sweetie? And that's enough, Lila, go to your room, we just looked and there's no door." I cried a little bit, but I'm not a baby. They just hurt my feelings, that's all. After a little while, I decided to tell my brother. But I did it differently than I did with my parents. I went to his room and thought about knocking, but after my last experience, I decided to just yell for him. "Hey, cheesehead. There's something creepy in the basement, I bet you can't find it." Then I ran back to my room. I knew he would take the bait. He's 12 after all, and anything scary or weird or creepy, he loves. A few minutes later, he came and called my name. I walked out to meet him in the hallway and he looked white as a ghost. "So, you found it, huh?" He nodded. "What exactly did you find? You gotta tell me, because Mom and Dad couldn't see it, so I gotta know you actually see it like I do." "It's a door," he said, simply. "And I opened it." "You what?" I nearly screamed. "Shh." Lance put his hand over my mouth and gestured behind me to my room. I nodded and realized we couldn't talk about the door where our parents could hear us. Excited and a teensy bit nervous to hear what happened when he opened the door, I eagerly went into my room and Lance followed and shut the door. He took a seat on my purple beanbag chair and I flopped down on my giant unicorn pillow. My parents may not be able to see the door, but they do love me. I'm spoiled rotten. Lance said that at first the door was hard to open, cause its hinges were rusty like the rest of it. He said it made an awful screechy noise like the dump truck makes on trash day outside our house. It opened inward towards him, so he couldn't really see anything, but he expected it to lead outside to the backyard, because that's the side of the house it was on, and that part of the basement isn't completely underground. I just shrugged, cause I didn't know that stuff. Then Lance got to the good part. He said, as soon as it was open enough that he thought he could see through, he poked his head around the side, and it led to a freaking tunnel. Like a giant rabbit hole or something. It had dirt walls and was circular and had tree roots and stuff poking through into it. He said it looked like Satan's butthole. Boys, sigh. I started to ask him a question about it, but he stopped me because he said that's not all. He told me that just as he was about to step into the butthole, or tunnel or whatever, someone else came around the corner. It looked like a man, in a nice charcoal gray suit, and he was smiling a big smile, but the smile was really off. It was too big, like it shouldn't stretch that far. He walked funny too. As if the man's body was a suit and the thing inside it wasn't used to wearing it yet. Lance said he was frozen for a few seconds, but right before the man thing got to the doorway, he managed to shut the door. The thing banged into it hard enough to shake my kitchen set, knocking it to the ground, and Lance ran back up here, and we talked. This was 6 days ago. Every day since, we have gone downstairs and slipped notes under the door. We don't think the thing can open the door from his side. At least it hasn't tried to yet. But here's my question. We're receiving notes back, and they're all really kind and funny. The guy says his name is James and he's trapped and just wants someone to talk to. He's been telling us jokes, like, "Why was the sand wet? Because the seaweed, get it? Ha. James is pretty funny. We are thinking about opening the door and letting him in. He must be really lonely out there and bored and hungry. Maybe he can come through the house and we can let him out the front door and then he can go home to his family. He says he has kids just like us waiting for him at home. What do you think? Should we let him in?"